basically try to get to know or to understand what is happening in the political scene. We ask a question, it's totally about your opinion, of course, facts, and yes, your opinion. And today I am joined by Emmanuel Bosire. So I am just going to get to start, go ahead with my question to him. Now, we've seen the bipartisan talks still ongoing, that is at the Bomas of Kenya. And a couple of people have come forward with proposals, suggestions as well on how to improve the current state of Kenya, both from the electoral boundaries, election commission, as well as from the cost of living to the funding in Kenya. Now, of course, we also saw recently the Chera 4 coming up. That is after the invitation to present at the bipartisan talks. We also saw the likes of the two sides of Jubilee also coming up to present the memoranda, as well as different entities, including the Attorney General, that is Gideon Muigai, coming forward with a proposal that has been the talk in town of reducing the number of constituencies, as well as scraping off some parliamentary seats. Now, a lot is happening in the bipartisan talks. Of course, we know that the agenda of the bipartisan talks includes a lot, now generalizing it to the cost of living in Kenya, as well as IEBC, as well as funding, and also inclusion, our creation of the Office of Opposition, as well as the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Now, my question to you, Emmanuel, is do you think that the agenda of the bipartisan talks or the end of the bipartisan talks will actually favor the president, that is William Ruto, or is it going to favor Raila Amolo Odinga?
The exit plan for bipartisan talks is going to end in premium tiers for the opposition as a mere coalition. I'm saying this because the president, Mheshimiwa William Ruto, is a master planner. Actually, he sees far than what normal politicians do. So, bipartisan talks, they were only meant to fix Raila Amolo Odinga in his own game of not accepting. Remember, as we've seen how things unfold, when you go to an election and you're not satisfied with the outcome, you have a platform to appeal. This platform for you to appeal your lose is in the Supreme Court. And we saw Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga going to Supreme Court to appeal to Supreme Court about the outcome of the 2022 polls elections. Here, the Supreme Court did not give him satisfaction towards what he had appealed. So when such things occur to you as a politician, what you do, you go back again to the voters so that you must be listened. What Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga wanted to is to be listened to. By who? First, by the ruling party that won the elections, and two, by the court. Now, UDA did not, and Kenya Kwanza did not take into consideration the agendas raised by Raila Amolo Odinga. So he said that he lost in an unfair game using the forgery error. And you saw what transpired at Bomas and even Olekina trying to bring. So again, he moved to Supreme Court with evidence that he did not lose election in a fair way. So IEBC again did not listen to Raila Amolo Odinga. So when you are a politician and this happens to you, you have another place again where you go and appeal. Where do you appeal? To the people. So that's why Raila Amolo Odinga came up again with demonstrations all over the country, which the government thought they were able to handle. And it's very, very risky to handle Raila Amolo Odinga. For you to handle Raila Amolo Odinga, you must use gloves. He's not someone that you go and touch using your bare hands. You must use gloves. Daniel Moi used the gloves to handle Raila Amolo Odinga. Kibaki, the president, used the gloves to handle Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta use gloves to handle Raila Odinga. And President William Ruto should be keen on how to handle Raila Odinga. So when he made an appeal again to members of the public, saying that the price of unga is high, the cost of living is unbearable for Kenyans, the prices of school fees is unbearable, the Kenyan shilling is losing value to the American dollar. So all these things, when he brought them to the normal Kenyan, he said we want to have demonstrations once per week. And we saw what it happens. He calls it for twice per week. You saw how businesses did not work, how the country was in a tense situation. He also said we want to have demonstration every day until the government listens to us. So when the president found out that it's now going to get messy after the police violated human rights, killing innocent lives of Kenyans who came out to demonstrate peacefully, they were killed, property destroyed, at the expense to brand it that's Azimio. You saw what happened to Kenyatta's family property. They went, the Mungiki destroyed property. They stole from Raila Odinga's gases. So when the president realized that it's getting messy and messy, what he did, he had to look for means to handle Raila Odinga. That's when he said, let's come together. Let the opposition come. Come, let's sit and discuss what you want. What you want. So from one side, the president calls for talks. And from the other side, he says that we are not going to ask for handshake. So Raila Odinga says that I'm not going for those discussions for handshake. Nusu mkati, alikaita nusu mkeka. So again here in bipartisan now. So the talks, the demonstrations, and the talk from the president gave rise and birth to bipartisan talks, which were created through parliament. So it's, generally we should not be having talks between the government and opposition. But it forced them through the parliament. Under normal circumstances, when you lose an election, you agree and life continues. You come to the next general elections, if you are there, again to contest again. So here in between, you should not join the government. You should keep your line as opposition. But we've seen Raila Odinga breaching these protocols and coming in through the back door, which Kenya Kwanza could be wanting to avoid. And now here, Raila Odinga is now pushed to a corner to accept the talks. Now they go to parliament. They say that now we're going to have a bipartisan talks. The Kenya Kwanza is going to bring the 5 members. The Azimio is going to bring another 5. So Kenya Kwanza led by Kimani Ichung'wah, and Azimio being the prime cabinet secretary, and the opposition. Have they been met? No, they have not been met. 2, they are talking about the supremacy of the constitution. They want to amend some articles of the constitution. Has that been met? It's not going to be met any soon. 3, they're talking about the high cost of living for Kenyans. Is it going to be met again? So no. So this now again, what we're seeing that Raila Odinga could, want to reconsider going back again to appeal to Kenyans that I'm being not heard. We are not being listened as Kenyans at Bomas, because those whom we thought will give us a listening here, they are again criticizing us. They don't want to listen to us. They are playing games with us. They are only giving us tea. You heard a key politician saying that at Bomas, there's nothing serious there. They're only drinking tea. Do you know tea, Kenyan tea?
Most definitely, yes.
Do you understand the Kenyan tea?
No.
What's Kenyan tea?
Kenyan tea can mean a lot of things.
I'm doubting if you are understanding the Kenyan tea. Yeah?
Please continue, Manuel.
So the Kenyan tea, we all understand the Kenyan tea. Chai. Raila Kalonzo Musyoka, huwezi mpea chai ya milioni 2. Hiyo ni pesa kidogo. Hiyo ni chai ndogo. Hata shiba. So chai ambao watu wa Kenya wanakunywa pale Bomas. chai nyingi sana ambayo inafaa itumike katika maendeleo.
Naam.
Ambayo inafaa itumike katika kulipa walimu. Ambayo inafaa itumike katika ujenzi wa kitaifa. Lakini viongozi na vikaragosi wanapoketi pale eti wanaongea mambo ya Mkenya wa kawaida, ni kupoteza muda. Na sasa katika kufika kilele cha mazungumzo pale Bomas, Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga atakuwa amechezwa. Vile vipengee pengine alikuwa ameahidiwa atakuwa amechezwa. Masuala ya kusema kwamba tutafungua server za IEBC haitakufanyika tena. Kwa hivyo na atarudi kwenye maandamano.
So can we say that or can we conclude that the bipartisan talks are a way of Azimio trying to gain closure of the alleged rigging of the 2022 general elections?
Definitely. What Azimio as a team wants to prove is that the 2022 elections, they won, and perhaps IEBC did not give them victory. They decided to give someone else. That's what they want to prove. And the other thing that they want to really prove to the government is that the cost of living is unbearable to Kenyans. The Kenyan shilling is losing value day by day. So what they want to bring to Kenyans actually, and anyone following this, is that the government is really like talking about the demonstrations. You breaking human rights as police officers. You are armed, you are in uniform, you are killing civilians who are demonstrating for what is their right. And you are telling us that as a country we should follow the constitution. Which constitution will we be following when you are killing demonstrators, peaceful demonstrators who are coming out to demonstrate for what they believe is their right? And again, what Raila Amolo Odinga could be wanting to prove again to everyone in the country since his time of coming into active politics is that Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga is a kingmaker. You cannot underestimate him. Raila Odinga, many things we see in our country, is the kingmaker. Who is the kingmaker for multipartism in our country?
Of course.
Who in history has tried to impeach a sitting president?
Raila Amolo Odinga.
Who in history is leaving opposition and joining the government?
Raila Amolo
and
Odinga.
humiliating the sitting deputy president. So Raila Amolo Odinga is really wanting to prove to us who he is and what is his importance at the Kenyan politics is. These are few politicians who will take a country long to get. It's how like we went to take long to get a president like Barack Obama in America. So getting a kingmaker and a crowd puller in our country, Raila Amolo Odinga, is going to be very difficult. Two, you find that Raila Amolo Odinga and the president, William Ruto, they have some characteristics, political characteristics, I can say, that they are somehow similar. First, they're all crowd puller. Raila Amolo Odinga can pull a crowd. Mheshimiwa William Ruto can pull up a crowd. Raila Amolo Odinga can do demonstrations. And I'm sure if William Ruto was in opposition, he could be very strict in demonstrations. He could have led Kenyans in demo. Do you know William Ruto in demonstration? You know, these are politicians who believe, maybe they went to the same school of politics. They believe on what they start until the end. If President William Ruto starts fighting for something, he will fight for it until the end. The same happens to Raila Amolo Odinga. If he has said no, he will say no until the last moment. So they are not kinds.
Really though?
They are not watermelons. We know watermelons in politics. We know the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka. We know politicians who cannot start an agenda. The likes of the earthquake, Musalia Mudavadi. Politicians who cannot believe themselves. You know, for you to be a politician, a good leader, you must believe in yourself. So when you start an agenda today, and tomorrow your agenda is not there, you don't have consistency, then you don't have what to tell Kenyans. So Raila Amolo Odinga is at the right time proving to Kenyans that he is a kingmaker, what his position in politics, in Kenyan politics is, and perhaps for the last time in 2027, if he will decide to contest, he will win with a big landslide. Raila Amolo Odinga afike kwa debe 2027.
Lakini Emmanuel, I feel like you're contradicting your statement kwa sababu kwanza umesema saizi penye tuko for Raila kitamramba. You know,
what I'm saying.
And if this happens, how is it going to guarantee that 2027 that number one, the commission is going to be fit enough to, number one, conduct free, credible, and fair elections, and number two, to ensure that if Baba does contest again, if he really wins this time round, that he is still going to be announced as a winner.
Now, what I'm saying is that when Kitakuramba in Bomas, it's not the end of you.
Okay. So there's still hope for Raila.
Actually, in Bomas, as I was saying, it's only trying to fix Raila Amolo Odinga. Maybe to be wasting his time in not going reconsidering demonstrations. That's what I mean. But what I mean that his relevance in politics will not come to the end. He will be having other ways to appeal to Kenyans. That what he had brought to bipartisan talks in Bomas did not go as we saw yesterday. You know, when they came out from the meeting in Mombasa, they came out pointing to the ills which are being done at Bomas at the moment. So when he came up with the Azimio team and the ODM, pointing out what the ills are being done, at the same time when the president was having the UDA delegates meeting. So this means that he's still working hard to see that what the intentions that were taken to Bomas must be heard. If they are not heard and being listened to and being acted upon, he still has options. And that's why he has the option now that he has at the moment is again going to the people and telling them, our people, you see life is unbearable. We've tried to go to have the talks at Bomas. They have failed. What should we do as our people? Let's go and push the government. You know, this government of William Ruto, if we don't push it, it cannot deliver.
And when you say that, sorry for cutting you short, that the government, if not pushed, cannot deliver. So far, we've seen the opposition. Of course, the role of the opposition is to keep the current party as well as the system in check, you know, ensuring that the needs of those the needs of those that are not met are actually met. You know, it's like fighting for the poor, fighting for justice for the people, you know. And that is the same thing we could say Raila was trying to do by telling Kenyans to go to the streets to demonstrate because of, number one, the high cost of living. And that is something that even you as our viewer cannot dispute that is really ailing the nation. You know, people cannot afford to put food on the table. People cannot afford to even conduct businesses peacefully. Those who are, I can't remember his name, juzi alikuwa anasema ikifika kwa watu wa mshahara basi mkate mshahara, serikali ichukue mshahara iwaachie tax, you know, because the taxation even on those who are earning basic salary per month is like so high, you know. Now if the talks, what is happening right now, I could say it's sort of like doing a survey, you know, trying to collect data that you're going to present come November, you know. Now if these particular talks do not bear fruit, you know, and we've seen what the opposition is doing, trying to fight, for example, for the Kenyan common mwananchi, you know, or the hustler, as we say, yeah? Is it okay, or would it be viable for Kenyans to return to the streets? Should Kenyans return to the streets if the bipartisan talks do not bear fruit?
You know, we should understand that we have the civil society. So going to streets, it's not evil or immoral. There are many ways as Kenyans and citizens can find their ways back to streets. So if we have the labor movement active, you know, let me tell you, opposition does not remain in opposition. We have other opposition parties, especially the labor movement. So headed by Francis Atwoli. If Atwoli and his team decide to be neutral, they should not actually they should be supporting the opposition. That's my understanding. They should not side up with the government, because the moment they side up with the government will take advantage of their civil servants and do much taxation to their civil servants. They will not give promotions at the right time. They will delay even salaries to others, and that's what we mean. So if you find the civil society of Kenya, maybe teachers, their rights and agreements with the government are not being followed or being had, or they're being violated, what do teachers do? Teachers don't strike. Their leaders tell them, here things are wrong. So they have their representatives. Maybe they have the KNUT, they have the others representing them. So they'll have to come out and show their dissatisfaction by not going to classes. They first give a warning. They'll say that between this and this day, if you are not going to listen to us, then we are going to appeal with the ones we represent to come out. So that you'll have the national teacher strike, maybe. You have the national doctor strike. So that's what you'll be seeing. So when we having the bipartisan talks going to fail and not to listen to Azumio side, what will happen? Again, the leader will give a signal to Kenyans that what we expected the government to do has failed to do. The agendas we brought to table at Bomas, they did not want to follow them. Now, what we are going to do again, we are going to appeal to the government. And how are we going to appeal? Bei ya unga irudi chini. So that's what would be happening. Now maybe decide, let's start by 2 days, 1 day. So until the government, this is what the president said. He said we want opposition which is active. This is now going to give Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga the best time to appeal to Kenyans until being listened to.
Okay. And to our dear viewers, I'm posing the question to you. Once again, feel free to interact with us on the comment section. It is very much open. Your opinions are very much appreciated, because here on Ask Siasa, it's all about your opinion. So I'm asking you the question: do you feel, or do you think that the bipartisan talks, or the outcome of the bipartisan talks, are going to favor Ruto or are going to favor Raila? Tunaweza sema ya kwamba the talks at Bomas kitamramba nani? That is a question that I am asking you right here on Ask Yes. So of course, as I said, we keep it short and sweet. Thank you, Mano, for your time. Thank you, Mano, for your opinion as well. And we're looking forward to having the next discussion probably with you. Oh yes, with you right here on Kenya News Alerts, as well as our brother channel, that is Channel 7 News TV East Africa. So from Ask Siasa, we are saying peace, love, and unity prevail. And see you in the next edition.